Welcome into the DNVR Rockies Podcast. I'm your host, Suzie Hunter, joined by Christian Saez. Welcome back 2 weeks in a row.
I know. It's becoming a habit. I know. The Suzie and Saez show back again. And we've got so much fun stuff to talk about.
So much fun stuff. I think the most fun thing is that Kyle Freeland and CJ Cron are back in action.
The boys are back.
The boys are back. Some of them from back injuries.
Yes. And regardless of what they're coming back from, just the fact that they're back in the lineup is huge for the Rockies, because the Rockies at this point in the season, they just need any sort of positive breaks in their favor.
Exactly. Well said. We exactly need just like a little bit of hope to keep us going.
To keep us pushing forward in the dog days of summer, as you called it.
It's dog day season.
Yeah, this is the rough part of the season, even for good teams, even teams that are doing really well. You know, this is the time of the year where like you start to feel concerned. Unless you've got like a 10-game lead in the division, you're starting to get a little stressed, like, please don't fall off the table now. You know, and so no matter if you're a good team, a bad team, this is just a rough time of year for baseball fans.
Rough time of year, especially for Rockies fans. We're going to break down, of course, this series against the Oakland Athletics, two of the worst teams in baseball facing off right here in Colorado. Could be really wild. Could be something else.
Yeah, I mean, wild is the best you can hope for, I would say.
The best you could, yeah.
That's kind of the excitement of two subpar teams facing off against each other, is that you just don't know what to expect. You never know what you're going to get.
Don't know which versions of those teams we're going to get. We'll also get into some of the transactions that have happened over the past couple of days. We're going to talk about where Nolan Arenado is going to end up. What's he doing? Why is he doing it?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that. But first, let's hear from Bud Black. So Buddy was talking about the return of both CJ Cron and Kyle Freeland and how big that is for this lineup, for this team, and for these guys individually. But Alyssa, are we ready to air that? Yeah. All right, here's what Buddy had to say just moments ago.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. You know, he's been an integral part of our team for a couple of years. It just looks better when he's in there, right? What he's capable of doing. So it's good to have him back. I know this has been, you know, for him, mentally tough because he wants to play. You know, he feels like all players. You know, when you don't play, you feel as though you're letting the guys down. And, you know, I reassure him that injuries are part of the game. It happens. But
are you guys going to have any sort of pitch count restriction or anything on Kyle tonight?
Well, you know, we'll watch Kyle for sure. I don't know if it'll be you know, maybe a little bit less than a full normal Kyle Freeland. But we don't have a hard number on it. The game will dictate that.
The game will dictate. That's something that Buddy, that was like his saying today.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's baseball. But today it was the game will dictate. So that was in terms of how many pitches we'll see Kyle Freeland out there for on the mound, because he gets the start tonight. But yeah, he mentioned we're not going to get full Kyle Freeland. We're going to hold him back a little bit maybe. But again, the game will dictate.
It will. And I like that he said that, because it makes me feel a little confident that he might have learned a little bit from his prior decision to leave. Who was the closer? Was it?
You're talking about Daniel Bard.
Daniel
from the
Bard.
other day?
Thank you. I was spacing on his name. Daniel Bard. When he left him in, a little bit controversial leaving him in through the entire ninth inning, ended up losing the game because of that. So to me, that shows Bud Black saying, you know what, we're going to let the game dictate this. I know it's a different situation, but hopefully that's a little bit of a lesson learned for him. But also just to have Kyle Freeland back in the lineup, I think after the style of injury that he had, the way he went down, dislocating his shoulder, I know we both felt this. I know Rockies fans felt this too. When we saw him go down like that, it was really scary. You know, I mean, he was just like, oh my God, what could have happened that's causing him to be in that much pain? And so to have him back in the lineup this soon is a very positive sign for us.
Definitely. Of course, this would be a totally different story if that fall happened on his throwing arm. So good thing he's a lefty.
Yes.
He's an intense dude. He's going to die for stuff.
But it does also, like I will say, your non-throwing arm still has a lot of motion in the throwing in the throwing routine. And so he does want to be careful, make sure that he's not getting too ahead of himself. Some pitchers throw with a lot more off-arm motion than others. I think back to like Tim Lincecum, who was torquing his entire body when he was pitching. You got guys like that. Kyle Freeland keeps it pretty compact, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. But yeah, you want to just play it safe, make sure that he has a good, healthy, positive first outing back.
Healthy and positive. That is exactly what we want to see. We also heard him talk about CJ Cron also coming back. He's in the lineup tonight at DH. The thing we've talked about with CJ Cron, he's had that back injury that he's been out with, and it's all been very precautionary. Yeah. But apparently his swing is just fine.
Yeah.
He's just fine when he's swinging a bat.
Back injuries are scary. A back injury was actually what ended my short-lived career in baseball. And it's scary because when you do start coming back, doctors tell you, okay, you're safe, you're good. We've done all the rehab you can do. You just need to go back out there and strengthen it and get back in there. But there's still this fear, especially for batters, that like you're going to swing and it's just going to blow out.
It's all going to fall apart.
It's all just going to fall out. Yeah, and so
oh my gosh.
I think a lot of it is a mental aspect of it. You've got to be able to get your mindset back into a place where you can compete again at the level you were at before, because if you can't get your mindset straight, you're going to be constantly thinking like, I got to, keep my swing compact and short to the ball, and you want to just go back out there and get back into it. So hopefully he can kind of get through those any mental jitters that might come up when coming back from an injury.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, even like me, like I have I had a shoulder injury over, this off season.
Yeah.
Because, obviously I'm just out there training.
Yes, all the time.
Training, just trying to get my way into the starting rotation. Yeah. But I'm like so nervous about my shoulder, and like it really wasn't even that serious.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine if like my livelihood depended on it, if it was like a real injury. and
your livelihood depends on such an explosive thing like swinging a bat at a baseball. Like that's the thing that people forget is like, you're not just kind of like, you think of like a golf injury, like, okay, maybe golf also is explosive, I guess, but I can't really think of a good example, but it's just such an explosive motion when you're swinging, and back is such a scary thing to injure. And so, yeah, hopefully that isn't a factor for him. And hopefully he can just come back out and start ripping.
Start ripping is right. We are ripping a guy out of, this is a terrible transition, out of Albuquerque. Chris Flexen, we found out today, will be starting for the Rockies tomorrow. He had some good appearances down there in AA, but what did Buddy say about him? So he said Chris Flexen threw 80-plus pitches in his last start in Albuquerque, so he's capable of getting into the 90s, but again, the game will dictate it. So a new fresh face, a new starter for the Rockies this weekend.
And when you were talking to Bud Black earlier about Flexen, he was, kind of talking about his past because he's a relatively new face for the Rockies. And, and so you guys were talking about his past and, what he brings to the table. And he seems like a pretty routine guy. He has a pretty consistent set of pitches, fastball, curveball, a cutter Bud Black was talking about. He also mentioned to look at the stats, so I did a little checking on like some of his past stats.
Let's dig in.
Yeah.
Let's dive in.
He played last year, the last 3 seasons with the Mariners in the Mariners organization. He finished last year over 17 games with about a 7.71 ERA. But the 2 seasons before that, he was hovering around mid-3 ERA.
We like that.
So he's had some pretty good outings with the Mariners, and so yeah, he's the type of guy that you hope to get some good innings from. Bud also mentioned the fact that he could go a little bit later if he needed to. But for me, I'm just hoping to get a good start out of him. You don't need anything too late in the game.
We don't need anything too flashy.
Yeah.
Just like let's get a guy out there who can throw a bunch of pitches.
Yeah, throw some strikes. get some ground outs. That's what you're hoping for. You come in your first outing with a new team. And it's almost like I feel like you have to have this mindset of like you're starting fresh, and so you're just going out there as if it's the beginning of the season. You're just sticking to the fundamentals, sticking to the basics. You want to get ground balls, keep the ball low. You're not trying to get it by people, just pitch to contact. That's the mindset you kind of have to have until you build that confidence with a new pitching staff, a new catcher, all of those things. So hopefully for him, this can be a good confidence booster to start his career with the Rockies.
We love it. You know what? Can't wait for tomorrow to see it. We've got Jeff in the comments asking what's their record now. The Rockies' record right now, they are 40-62. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, who just said that?
Did we get an from the crowd?
Who just did that?
Yeah. we're hearing noises
down.
coming from the crowd.
Simmer down.
Yeah.
Simmer down. No
Yeah.
one asked you.
She's not wrong though. Yeah.
Okay. Let's. Okay, but let's. I'm in a fight with everyone right now. I'm very argumentative. I'm so tired.
That's fair.
My flight got in so late. Oh my gosh, I'm just kidding. Like, you're fine. You can chime in whenever you want. Oakland's record 28-76.
Can we get another for that one?
Oof.
Yeah.
No, we got an oof.
Yeah, that one was
that
like,
is an
oh
oof.
my God. 28 wins. Yeah,
Congratulations on being that bad.
It is very challenging to be that bad, and the Oakland A's continue to surprise us, or not surprise us, with their ability to be that bad.
Like, imagine being at this point in the season, and it's like you haven't been able to say, yeah, we won more than 30 times.
What makes it worse is everything happening behind the scenes, and that's the kind of tough part to swallow. Like the Rockies, obviously we all want better. We all want, and there are things behind the scenes that we all also want to see improvements on, but there's not this like historic collapse going on in the background of the season for the Rockies. And the A's have that right now, where their franchise is being demolished in front of their eyes. What's even the point of going to support the A's in any context right now? It's really sad what's going on in Oakland.
It is. It's actually, it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
It breaks my, we're going to get into that in our next segment when we get into some baseball headlines. I want to run through a bunch of this Rockies news first, though. We're going to get to everyone's comments, I promise. But yeah, we had some transactions today. Kyle Freeland reinstated off the 15-day IL. Tommy Doyle recalled again back up from AAA. And then Chase Anderson on the 15-day injured list with right shoulder inflammation.
Yeah.
This is news to me, but, who knows?
It's pretty common, I feel like, for this time of year.
Yeah.
You get shoulder inflammation, you get knee inflammation. It's just, that's a
Everything's
typical
inflamed.
Injury at this point in the season.
Super typical. But yeah, Riley Pint was optioned back down to AAA after Wednesday's game, so we didn't even get to see him.
Yeah. Again, just one of those typical moves right now. This is, as you mentioned, the dog days of summer, so you're going to start seeing just a lot of these kind of little like, oh, this guy needs a little bit of extra rest, so we're going to send him down, or we're going to just put him on the IL for a few weeks. And the Rockies don't have anything to lose either, so you're not really freaking out about any of this. But yeah, hopefully the guys can come back and be in a better place after that. Definitely.
Before we get into a couple more Rockies headlines, let's talk about Bet365, because they have pioneered live in-game betting. And today, Bet365 offers the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting. And they've got more than 80 million users worldwide. So, you know they got that good stuff. And they are a proud partner of the Colorado Rockies, too, which is even better. But you can get a better price on chosen markets for select games with Bet365 Boosts or Bet365 Super Boosts. Pretty cool stuff. They've got a good deal with MLB, though, an early payout offer. With Bet365 Baseball early payout offer, you are a winner if your team goes 5 runs ahead with an instant payout. Parlay and same-game parlay selections will be marked as winners, too. But download the app, use code DNVR365 when you sign up. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, text or call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's the stuff right there.
That's the juice.
That's the juice. And if you, all right, we got to talk about Beckus and Shanker, because I haven't sung that theme song in way too long.
Can we make that their theme song? Just you, like, singing that little tone?
It should be in their commercials.
It should at least.
It's kind of weird that it's not. I'm glad we're talking about this.
Yeah, it needs to happen.
Yeah, you know what? It hurts me emotionally. That's not one of the things they help you with, but they are helping folks who are injured in Colorado, and they've been doing it for more than 25 years. It is totally free until they win money in your case. There is no upfront fee to talk to someone about your case. No fee while they're working on it. You're not paying a dime until they are winning you money, and they've done it a lot to the tune of more than $1 billion here for Colorado families. They've got offices all over the state too, including Denver, Aurora, Englewood, and Fort Collins. And they've got the strength and power to win your case too. More than 30 lawyers, more than 100 staff. So you've got all hands on deck for your case. They're helping with all kinds of serious injury cases where you were not at fault. Car accidents, motorcycle, rideshare, pedestrian, truck, you name it. They can even help you if you are hurt at work. So you can call them at, think of the king of being hurt at work, Troy Tulowitzki. Call him at all Tulos, 222-2222. Find out if you have a case for free because Backus and Schenker wins.
Especially with that little theme song you wrote for them.
Especially Backus and Schenker. You know what hurts
So
me?
good.
You know what hurts me? The idea of Nolan Arenado even thinking about getting traded to the Dodgers after everything that happened.
Yeah.
Here his first time in the NL West. I am absolutely shook, but that is the report. Those are the rumors that are flying around right now that Nolan Arenado is interested in being traded to the Dodgers.
And he does have a no trade clause, which,
A
as
full
you were
no-trade
mentioning,
clause.
yeah. So he could choose to say no if the team offers to trade him anywhere. He could say no, but he has mentioned in this report that he would be willing to go to the Dodgers.
So this is, the LA Times reported this, that Nolan Arenado is willing to waive the clause to play for the Dodgers and only the Dodgers. According to people with knowledge of the situation, the Southern California native is said to have always wanted to play for the Dodgers. You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, can you imagine seeing him playing at Coors Field in a Dodgers uniform?
Like,
The amount of, like, how conflicting would that be for Rockies fans? Because obviously, you know, I mean, there are still people here who are like Arenado fans, even though it's just like, he's so distant from us now. But God, the Dodgers, you're killing me, man.
Here is how I see the situation. Here's how I think a lot of fans will see the situation. So Nolan Arenado, a lot of drama, to say the least, went down that final season he was with the Rockies. And, he was under the impression that things were going to be built up around him, and they weren't. So when we thought that Nolan was a lifer, he gets his ass moved to another team, gets his ass moved to the Cardinals. So he's with the Cardinals, and just a couple of years later, the same thing is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's honestly, I think it's going to reflect poorly on him.
I agree.
I think people are just going to say, like, okay, no, like, he's making these big commitments and not really sticking to them, not seeing them out. So if he does it again, I don't think he'll have any fans in Colorado.
No,
anymore.
I agree. And we see this in other sports too. I make the comparison to like the NBA. You see guys like Kyrie Irving or James Harden like bouncing from super team to super team, hoping that it's going to work out around them, and then for whatever reason it just kind of collapses.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing happening in Major League Baseball. Now, super teams are less common in Major League Baseball because there's so many moving pieces, but Nolan Arenado is trying to create his version of a super team. And baseball is just so much more intricate than that. There's so many more variables. The Dodgers are as close as it can get to being a super team. And as we've seen, I mean, obviously they made it to the World Series, but like they've had seasons where you expected them to be easily World Series champions where they didn't live up to the hype.
Because that's baseball.
Because that's baseball.
That's baseball.
I mean, you could have the Rockies could sweep the Dodgers and we'd all be like, oh yeah, that's cool. But none of us would be thinking that the Rockies are a better team than the Dodgers. We'd just say, yeah, that's baseball. It happens.
Yeah.
We had better pitcher outings for that series. So I think for Arenado, obviously, if there are other factors like it being his hometown and him wanting to just maybe change it up or go to a team that he's loved his entire life, that's cool, whatever. But I just don't see building around a super team in the way that it happens in other sports.
Yeah, no, that's such a good comparison, though, comparing it to the NBA. But yeah, we don't do that in baseball.
No.
We simply do not. It is exactly what you said, more intricate than that. Why didn't he just ask to be traded to the Dodgers in the first place?
Yeah,
If he's always wanted to play there and they've already got a lot of pieces. They had more pieces, I think, than the Cardinals had.
I will say the Dodgers, I think, when he was initially getting traded to the Cardinals, the Dodgers were in a place where they were looking for some outfielders, and they were spending some more money on that piece of things. They were looking for pitching. They were just, I think, interested in different value that Nolan Arenado didn't have, or he would have cost a little bit more to them than what they were willing to pay. But now I don't see why they wouldn't. And they had a good position. I mean, they had Josh Turner, I think, at the time. locked in at third base.
Justin Turner, yes.
Josh Turner.
There we go.
Justin Turner, the country star. Yeah, Josh Turner.
Yes.
Justin
Is that a country star?
That Josh Turner is a country star. I was listening to him on the way over here. That's totally why he was in my brain.
I have never heard of Josh Turner.
I think he's the guy with the like really low voice, the baby lock them doors and turn that guy. Yeah.
Alyssa, are you hearing this?
I know. I was like, dang, that's
What?
See, you've got the Backus and Shanker thing, and then we'll go with the Josh Turner on the other side.
I didn't know you could sing, Christian.
It depends on the day, It depends on it depends on how low. I could never do your Backus and Shanker impressions.
Well, I'm a classically trained soprano, so
there you go. But yeah,
Try to keep up,
I think the
please.
Dodgers weren't in a place for Arenado, but they're in a place now where Arenado could fit into their lineup, and so we'll see. But Arenado, that would be a tough one to swallow.
Even just the rumors are sickening to me. Not to be
brutal.
dramatic, but I could literally throw up right now.
Yeah, and I hate everything that has to do with the Dodgers. I mean, I grew up in a Giants household, so the Dodgers were just like ingrained to be the absolute demons of baseball, and they still are.
And they still are. Speaking of demons, Justin Lawrence got a DM after he didn't have a great outing on Tuesday night. Tuesday night was just messy for all of us.
That's baseball.
Because that's baseball. But Justin Lawrence got a DM and decided, okay, like, I'm calling this dude out. He put screenshots, we got receipts, but someone had the nerve to DM Justin Lawrence and say, you freaking bum, you don't deserve to be in the league, when Justin Lawrence has been so freaking good all season.
Yeah, it's tough.
I feel like this is his first not good outing, and it was like in the rain at midnight. Like, it was so late.
I just have such a hard time with people, and I include myself in this because we all do this, but like, we sit here from the outside, I sit here on a couch talking into a camera saying Bud Black shouldn't have left Bard in for X, Y, and Z, or the Rockies need to do this. But in reality, we're not there. We're not the ones out there on the mound. We're not the ones in the clubhouse or in the locker rooms or whatever it is. So we have this disconnect that we just don't have the ability to speak truly on these things. And so you get a fan who comes in and thinks that they are entitled to give shit to Justin.
The entitlement.
To say, to call him a bum and say, and I'm like, part of me wants to be like, dude, you get out there and try. See how you would do.
I bet like this dude couldn't even he couldn't even make it to the plate from the mound.
Yeah, and I also like what Justin was saying, where he was just saying, look, this isn't about me. I don't know if you guys saw the thread, but
we can read the thread.
Yeah,
I'm gonna read the thread.
Go for it, because he had some good stuff in there.
He goes, a thread. Let me preface this by saying this isn't remotely the first time I've gotten a message like this, nor will it be the last. I get a handful of them anytime an outing doesn't go well, and oftentimes are far worse than this one. Gave up 3 home runs last night that ended up costing us the game. It happens, has happened, and will happen again. What stood out to me, though, wasn't the DM, but that in his bio, when I clicked on it, mental health matters. And he's right, it sure does matter. But what good does it do to have it in your profile if you aren't going to live by it? This isn't about me. This is about, if you want to stand for something, stand for it with everything you have and in every part of your life, not just the convenient parts or when you want to. If it's something that matters to you, then show that it matters and teach others around you why it matters so much to you. Don't let people think it matters to you just because it's in your bio or your profile pic, or if you share a pic on National this or that day once a year. Mental health is very much a vulnerable topic. So if you want it to matter, don't be part of the problem, especially one man to another. The only justification for ever looking down on a brother is to pick him up. The happiest person in the room, make sure you ask them how they're doing too.
Awesome stuff.
Whoo! Yeah. Justin Lawrence.
Yeah, and I like that he, was able to kind of take it away from him. He wasn't just being pissed off that someone was kind of hating on him for a bad outing. Like he ended up really talking about an important aspect that I think gets overlooked in professional sports, because it's easy to forget that these guys and men and women are usually in their 20s, sometimes teens in a lot of cases. I mean, I'm 26 years old. Like, I mean, a lot of these guys are younger than I am. And having to be on a stage where they're that visible with that much pressure, and there are games that you just don't play the way you want to. The best of the best have bad games. So I would imagine it's very challenging to deal with that on top of getting that kind of constant hate in a digital world that's so accessible. People can DM you and message you so much easier than, back in the day when none of that was around. So really props to him for being outspoken about it and kind of calling a light to this issue.
Yeah, the access, that is the thing that is such a game changer in today's game. And I mean, you've dealt with this, I'm sure, as a reporter. I've dealt with this as a reporter, where people can send you all kinds of nasty emails and DMs. Where I guess, before email, you had to write someone a letter? Yeah.
And it's so much, and I will say, because I used to run, our news Facebook page, and it's so much worse for, the women than it is for the men. Because,
awful.
It's just, you get a female, news anchor or reporter, and they're just, doesn't matter what they wear, how they do their hair or makeup, someone's not happy, and they feel like it's their job to say that to them, and it's just awful. I don't want to get down this rabbit hole because we could go on forever, but it's really brutal. I hate that part of society.
Oh my gosh, I do too. I really do. But honestly, props to Justin Lawrence because that's a great point.
And I appreciate men talking about it too. I know, because like I said, I think it's more common for women to get that type of negative negative feedback in those ways. And I think it's important for men to also speak up and say, look, this happens to us too. Maybe not in the exact same ways. But we just need to be okay talking about it for everyone. Doesn't matter who it is.
I'm curious to catch up with Justin Lawrence about the response that he got, but I do know that someone who works at DNVR, after he saw the thread that Justin Lawrence posted, sent Justin Lawrence a message and went, listen, you're a filthy pitcher and I love you. Keep killing it, brother.
Can I take a guess on who that was? Was that Spencer? That had to be Spencer.
I'm like, should I? Yeah, of course it was. Of course it was Spencer. Of course it was.
I love that. I love that Spencer would do that. That's awesome.
He so would, though.
He so would. He's so invested too. He's one of those guys that doesn't matter how the team's doing. The dude is watching the game. Props to you, Spencer, taking care of your baby at home, watching Rockies games.
Oh my God, that's right. Spencer's a little baby now. It's so crazy.
That's so funny.
So crazy. So funny. You know what's not funny? How good of a deal Shady Ray gives us.
There you
Shady
go.
Rays gives us just the best deal out there. And it's on gear that is built to last. These frames are so durable. I brought my Shady Rays to DC and I dropped them every hour. I think I was dropping my Shady Rays. They are not broken though. They are in great shape even if I did break them. They have the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. You can break them, you can lose them. They're going to replace them for free, no questions asked. Even if you lose them on day one, who could that happen to?
Absolutely no one in this room.
No one in this room. No one on this camera, that's for sure.
No.
But they are just as good as any designer pair you're going to wear. Durable frames, great optics, perfect for outdoor activities. Whether it's an actual activity, maybe your activity is brunch. My activity is usually brunch. But you can shop the entire collection of their entire collection at their newest location, at the Park Meadows Mall. You can try them on. So if you're not an online shopper, you can get it all done there. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, exchange them for a new pair, return them for free within 30 days. There is no risk when you shop. That team always has your back. Now, here is the good deal that I'm talking about. People cannot believe how good this deal is when I tell them about it. 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses when you use code DNVR. So go to shadyrays.com, use code DNVR. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by more than 250,000 people. All right, this is the ad read you've been waiting for the most. Kind love.
My favorite.
Your favorite. You're afraid of the turbo joint.
I'm terrified.
You're terrified.
Marissa brought home some Kind Love joints, and I literally remembered when I was about to smoke it. I'm like, wait a minute. I remember Suzie explaining the turbo joint, and I had this moment of do I want this right now? And it was amazing. It was so much fun.
So much fun. Yeah, I'm a big Turbo Joint fan now. I think my tolerance has gone a little up lately. I've been here for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
But Kind Love, they are so excited to be the official partner of DNVR. One local brand to another. We love this collab, and we love Kind Love because their cannabis is coming from the OG dispensary, one of the OG dispensaries in Colorado. They've been around since 2010. They're known for cultivating some of the highest quality cannabis in the state. And they've got a great store, too. They've got great locations. The one that is closest to me is Cherry Creek. It is right by, like, that PetSmart in, like, that same parking lot as the Target.
Okay.
And, like, I guess technically Shotgun Willie's.
Yes. All in the same
so you
general
can
vicinity.
Just get, like, all of your debauchery done. No, but fully integrated, seed to sale, basically farm to table, but for weed, they are breeding their own genetics. They have a controlled grow process. And we've mentioned the Turbo Joint. They have a game-changing new line of products. The Turbo Joint, the Turbo Core. The Turbo Core is a toothpick-sized stick. It's 100 milligrams of cannabis concentrate. It's got a little pointed tip, and you can put it into another joint, or you can put it into. It'll take you on a literal ride. But that technology, absolutely groundbreaking. You can get that there, and if you head to one of their stores, maybe in Cherry Creek or in North Denver. If you mention DNVR, you're going to get the exclusive DNVR listener discount of 25%. All Kind Love flower, pre-rolls, and their whole Turbo Joint line. Absolutely incredible deal. But you can visit the website, kindlove.com, so you can check out their lineup. Or you can also use code DNVR when you're ordering online. Great stuff.
So
great
good
stuff. Let's talk about some baseball headlines before we get this show on the road and get me back to the ballpark, because there is a lot happening in the world of baseball. Obviously, we are rapidly approaching trade deadline season. MLB made an extension.
They did.
Rob Manfred, he is extended through 2029 as our Major League Baseball commissioner.
Can we get some like of that Star Wars music, the like, you know, return of the, or the like Empire music?
Yeah.
As we announced this. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. But, you know, I guess it's not really a surprise. Major League Baseball's profits have been through the roof.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. I know people say, well, like, come on, that's the stupidest thing ever. You know, he's terrible for baseball. Well, if you look at it from the people who actually extend him, which is the Major League Baseball board, all they see is the fact that Major League Baseball has tripled in size in the time that or more in the time that he's been commissioner. So that's not going to change anytime soon.
And, you know, it makes sense that he would be extended too, especially if they have been talking about expansion teams. You don't want to change big leadership like that when you're about to add more teams to this growing league. Also, I'm just like, you know what? Everyone always hates every commissioner.
Yeah.
Commissioners are famously not very well liked.
It is part of the business.
So can we do better? It's the devil you know versus the devil you don't.
Yeah. And I think, you know, as long as the sport of baseball is progressing forward, even if there are little setbacks that we don't agree with or whatever, as long as the overall sport of baseball is moving forward, I'm happy.
Yes. Well,
so
I salute
keep it
you.
up.
I salute you. It is pass and bomb season, aka it is almost trade deadline, and we've gotten so much content. Kike Hernandez heading back to the Dodgers.
Yeah, did you see his little dance that he had when he came back?
He's so talented.
Dude had some movement in his hips.
I did not realize he was going to be that excited to go back to LA, but he is back where he belongs. Clearly where he belongs. He was excited to be back. Yeah, seriously. Ahmed Rosario of the Guardians heading to the Angels. Noah Syndergaard heading to the Guardians. That fits. The name works.
It does, and it fits him. And I don't know. That's just it seems like a good match.
It does seem like a good match. Yeah. Trade deadline, man. Good thing. So Jeff Passan broke his back a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
A tree fell on him.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
Crazy
I saw him
stuff.
say that.
Right? Yeah, insane. So he had kind of warned us ahead of time. Oh, well, there might be some painkiller-induced trade deadline tweets.
So good.
Haven't really seen any of those yet. But
or
yeah, he's well, you know what? If he is tweeting through painkillers, He's doing a great job.
Yes, he's having his secretaries, tweet for him. He's like, hey, you can type for me. I'll just tell you what to say.
Yeah, exactly. All right, speaking of painkillers, painful Cubs-Cardinals game last night. A lot of chaos. Did you catch this game?
I did not, but my mom and sister were watching at the hotel in San Francisco last night. They're going to the Giants games tonight, and my mom was just talking to me on the way here, and she's like, "Did you watch the game last night?" And I'm like, "What game are you talking about?" And she's like,
game?
"Yeah, the Cards Cubs." She's like, this guy got hit, and then this guy got hit, and then there was fights, and people were ejected, and I'm like, "Wow, what did I miss?"
All of it happened
in the
so fast.
first inning.
Like,
yeah, that's what she was saying.
First.
Yeah. So no, I didn't catch it, but I did get the overall picture of it from my mom.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot happened. So Wilson Contreras got hit with the bat.
Okay.
And then he was taken out of the game because I believe it's a scalp laceration.
Oh,
which
that
I'm
sounds
hoping just means he cut
insane.
his head.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Sounds
know how
scary.
bad it is, actually, but that does sound scary. And also, yeah, any head injury, very scary stuff.
Take it out.
Especially, through a helmet. Mm-hmm. So you know it's bad.
Yeah.
So then they brought in Ian Happ. Ian Happ gets hit. And then Miles Michaelis gets ejected. So just, so much happened.
Yeah. It seemed like it just all kind of added up, but...
I liked what, so Ryan Spilborghs, our good friend Spilly, he tweeted out, I stand by umpires 99% of the time, but this just escalated the tension between Cards and Cubs and now puts multiple players, pitchers, on Cardinals at risk. Based on Happ's reaction after getting hit, it was over. He accepted it. Umpires should have too. So Ryan Spilborghs weighed in on this. I think he's got good takes. Aside from the hot dog being a sandwich, that's his worst take. He has got normally pretty good takes.
Yeah. And like I said, I didn't see this happening, so this is all news to me. But what he says makes sense. So, oh yeah. I just tossed him like that. Because when you get the batter walking down to first base, like, okay, it happened. So be it. Usually, if there's no natural tension happening, the umpires will let it go unless they've already been warned or all that kind of stuff. And so maybe they had already sent out warnings, but that does seem a little premature.
Yeah, it seemed a little aggressive. Sometimes, the umps, they want to put on a show of their own. They want to be part of it.
And they want to set the tone. It's the first inning, too. So, you might see, okay, there might be some tension here. Maybe we try to set the tone, and it just does the opposite of what they were expecting.
Yeah.
That can happen, but unfortunately, it did happen in this case, it seems like.
Hey, we all make mistakes. Is that not the theme?
We do.
Real fast, before we close out, I do want to get to one of my favorite moments of this week when we were out in D.C., Brenton Doyle, from not too far from D.C., he had family at the game, a ton of family and friends. So did Nolan Jones. He's from Philly, so that's only a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
That's not too far either. Both of them had tons of family and friends in town. And for them, these young players, kind of the first time they've had a crowd like this for them. So very special moment. We've got sound from both Brenton Doyle and Nolan Jones. But Alyssa, are we ready to play that? Yeah. All right, let's hear from the boys. Now we're not too far from, where you're from, where you grew up. Do you have any family who's making it down for the series?
Yeah, I got a lot of family coming down. This and Baltimore are the closest I'll get to home this year. So those two series will be have a lot of family for me.
Oh yeah, because you just missed Philly.
Yeah, I just missed Philly. Got sent down right before it. So yeah, these are the closest two. So yeah, the whole family's making the trip down.
Are they like Philly? Are they loud? I could ask that because I'm also from Philly.
They're not crazy loud. They're happy, they're excited, they're proud of me. But they're not too crazy, which is good for me.
A good balance.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
I'd probably say 50 to 60 people. I know probably know of 30, but I know a lot of my high school buddies and a lot of people that are coming but aren't trying to bug me and stuff before game. But I mean, the support system I have here is unbelievable, and a lot of friends and family. It's really fun to play behind. I came to a lot of Nationals games growing up. So playing here is very surreal, and it's honestly a dream come true.
I did get a chance to ask them. So the game that they had, pardon me, they, of course, the game on Tuesday night was so chaotic only because of the rain delays that turned it from a, a 2.5-hour game to a 5-hour experience.
Those do that, yeah.
So I asked them both. I'm like, did you have like, did everyone stick around? Did most people stick around? Nolan Jones was like, everyone stayed.
Yeah.
All of them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, as someone whose family still, like, watches all of the shows that I do, listens, I mean, they were like my only listeners when I was on college radio.
Yeah.
Like, your family usually will be the ones that stick around when everyone else has gone home. And so that's super cool for them to be able to do that. I also think it's one of the beauties of playing professional sports, is that you get to be able to be at that level and have your family watching. And, the tough part about it, though, is that when you go and play on a team on the complete opposite side of the country from your entire family and friends and community, you get these limited moments of, like, everyone getting to come to the game. And it feels like just an absolute party when that happens. And so that's super cool. It has to be some of the best memories, hopefully, if they play well, some of the best memories of the whole season, when you have your whole family there watching.
Both of those guys played well this series, so that was fun. Excited to see what they do this upcoming series. Again, we've got Athletics versus Rockies here at Coors Field. Kyle Freeland on the mound for the Rockies. JP Sears, the other lefty, taking the mound for the Oakland Athletics. And then Saturday we mentioned Chris Flexen. He will be up against righty Paul Blackburn. And then Sunday was originally slated with Chase Anderson as a probable pitcher. We'll see if he's still injured with that shoulder inflammation. Maybe he's not, though, because it was retroactive too.
Yeah, he's got a couple days.
I think he's still got a couple of days, so please don't make me do math about it. But yeah, I'm not sure who's pitching on Sunday for us. Luis Medina, the righty for Oakland, he will be pitching on Sunday. Patrick and I will be back in studio this Sunday to break down this Oakland A's series, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Are you going to make it to any games this weekend?
Probably not this weekend.
You're not prioritizing?
Not the Oakland A's, I would think. Although, like we said, some of these series can get a little wild when you get teams of that caliber playing each other. But no, I am hoping to catch a few more games in person before the season ends, for sure. Because I've amazingly only been to in person one game this year.
That literally makes me ill.
It makes me ill.
Not to be dramatic, but I want to die.
My work schedule has been insane, so it's just been challenging to balance like being able to go to the games. But yeah, and we also, like, Marissa and I, we just bought a house in Littleton, so it's like we're farther out now.
Oh, you guys have a new dog, too.
We do have a new dog. It's just, there's a lot of factors involved. But it makes me ill as well. I mean, I didn't even go to the series when we played the Giants. That's like my childhood team that my mom's like, "Are you not going to any of the Giants games?" And she's like, "I'll fly down and we'll go." And I'm like, I just can't. So yeah.
And also, we keep dragging you into co-hosting these shows too. But so grateful for your time. Please tell everyone where we can follow you.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at CJJ Saez, and hopefully when I do get to go catch a Rockies game in person in the coming weeks, I'll post about it a lot.
Yes, you should. All right, you can follow me at the Suzie Hunter on all platforms. Make sure you are heading to DNVRlocker.com. We've got an incredible summer sale with a lot of stuff that's half off. Is everything half off? Or no, a lot of stuff is half off.
Just not stickers and glasses.
Oh, not stickers and glasses. But
wow.
So much merch is half off, including we've got some Rockies merch on sale too. The Blake Street 32-ounce Bombers shirt, one of my favorites. That is on sale. So, like, just stock up. Like, these are soft shirts, too. Like, they're so comfy. Please. But, yeah, go to DNVRlocker.com for those. You can follow all of the Rockies updates this weekend at DNVR_Rockies. And, Christian, what do I always like to say about closing out a show?
I still haven't learned. What do you say, Suzie?
I still haven't learned how to close out a show.
No one knows.
No one knows how to close out a show. All I can say is I will see you on Sunday. Have a great weekend. Go Rocks.